Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Tuesday the 19th of August 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post put on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. Look at this is outrageous. Just in, former White House Crypto Council Director Bo Hines joins Tether as strategic advisor. Oh my god. Literally, it just goes to show you what's going on. He's been paid off. Oh yeah, come to Tether. We've never had an audit. All we do is attestations, and yet what we're really doing is helping pay off the US debt, which is created by the central banks anyway. Absolutely outrageous. Dr. David Carlin has said end game. That's it. Like literally people paying for things, using biometrics, ridiculous, or chipped in the hands. We're going to talk about the supply side economics here. Like this is just staggering. I know this sounds stupid. I should have figured this out ages ago, but it just goes to show like how powerful this thing is and why the cabal just simply don't want many people to have their hands on it. But this is why it's really important the truthers do it. We're just going to be talking about this post here with Roy talking about something called Galaxy. Not sure what it is, but we'll have a quick look at that. Got some posts here from CSW, which we'll look through, and his profile. Got some 365 days of Bitcoin history, and then we'll finish with the Kellish Weller countdown. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Here we go, rock and roll. So Justin, former White House Crypto Council Director Bo Hines joins Tether as a strategic advisor. So he would have been paid off. They said, look, just come here. We'll give you like hundreds of millions as a pay packet. Because you try and give Tether credibility when you join it because you were the head of the Crypto Council. You wouldn't be joining a fraud, would you? You know what you're doing. People will listen to you. Tether's not a fraud. Literally, this is just a massive cover-up for the Tether fraud. It's absolutely outrageous, and it just goes to show you that people can be bought. And he was meant to be head of the Crypto Council Director. So you've got the head of the Crypto Council Director literally now being a strategic advisor at Tether. What does that tell you? He should never have been the head of the Crypto Council Director because he's a fucking scammer is what he is. Oh, I mean, literally, it just goes to show you he knew absolutely nothing. He should never have been in that position in the first place. If he's going to join Tether as a strategic advisor, literally drawing one of the biggest frauds in crypto. One of the most blatant frauds in crypto. And they're literally trying to add credibility to it by getting him as a strategic advisor. Also, people will trust it more. But again, we know all the blockstream guys know that BTC is propped up by Tether. That's why they never wear Greg Coin or BTC t-shirts. You always see them with a Tether written on it. Honestly, absolutely ridiculous. Check this out though. David Carlin says end game. He knows what's going on, having been targeted as a British doctor, coming out with all the truth. Look at this. That is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous for anybody who actually knows what's going on and this is what they want. Like paying with what, like chips in the hand or biometrics. Literally, like they have got you by the short and curlies. Imagine like the medium of exchange, which should be money, not currency, is what moves the chess pieces around the board. Let's say you've got all these chess pieces on the board that do different things, but you can only make them move via the medium of exchange. This is what economics does. It enables the movements of goods and services, and if you control the medium of exchange, you can control the movement and flow of markets and goods and services. This is where it's headed. Absolutely insane that people support this. Check this out. So D3 said, correct me if I'm wrong, but if the global crypto market cap is 3.95 trillion, and of that 541 million is the only one that's an actual commodity and has value, that's like BSV, then that means there is 3.94 trillion, which is 99.98% of the market, is a massive black hole. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. That is what we're faced with. It is a massive Ponzi scheme. That $3.49 trillion has got nowhere to go but into true value. Like literally, it's a $4 trillion Ponzi scheme. But yeah, that's spot on. And check this out. I mean, I just couldn't believe. Well, I should have figured this out ages ago. But I was just thinking, like, you've only got 21 million Bitcoin, which means only if that was distributed evenly, only 21 million people could have 1 Bitcoin each, and that's divided by, and that's amongst the population of what, like 7 billion. Only 21 million could have 1 genuine Bitcoin each. Only 2.1 million could have 10 coins each. So 2.1 million people out of 7 billion could have 10 coins each. Only 210,000 of that 7 billion could have 100 coins each. Like, whoa. Only 21,000 could have 1,000. Only 2,100 people could have 10,000 or more. Only 210 people in the entire world could have 100,000 each. And only 21 people could have 1 million each. So if we sort of like change those figures around, let's say, Satoshi Nakamoto probably got around maybe 4 million, probably more than that. Like Calvin's probably got 1 million. We know that there's another wallet that's also got like 2 million in there. I know plenty of people, with more coins than that. So let's say, crikey. I mean, let's say, just for like argument's sake, like a round number, like there are 12. Let's say there are sort of 12 million coins, or let's say like 9 million coins that are literally in the hands of a few people. Even if you were to divide this by 2, it literally means that only 10 million people could have 1. And it literally means that only 1 million people could have 10. I mean, the numbers are just staggering. This means that only maybe like 10,000 could have 1,000 genuine Bitcoin each. I mean, only 5,000 people might have 2,100. Well, only 1,000 might have like 10,000 coins. I mean, the figures are absolutely... I mean, the economic power that this thing has got right now that we are looking at is absolutely insane. Which means, all those people who know the truth and understand what's going on, that are holding a bag full, they are going to have to step up. They're going to have to step up because it's economic power. All legal and political influence stem from economic power. This is why it's so important that all the economic power goes into the hands of those people who know what's going on in the world right now. Who know what's coming. This attempted worldwide enslavement of the entire population. It's only economics that's going to get us out of this. And these figures show you and illustrate to you the economic power of what you are potentially holding if you've got 1 or more genuine Bitcoin. And Satoshi Nakamoto has made it that way so that truthers can get in on it now. Just incredible. Roy Murphy said here, let's just follow this thread. He said, let's clear this up once and for all. The record high optimized peak throughput for a single instance of Aerospike DB is 150,000 transactions per second. He said Galaxy will parallelize 188 million transactions per second per shard today, each instance. Okay, well, I mean, what's Galaxy? I've never even heard of it. Each instance can be harmonized, scaled. It has no limits. Well, I mean, surely this can't be something that Roy Murphy just made up on his own. Oh, yeah, I've just created Galaxy and it can do this. But, I mean, what is it? Ketones said, this is astounding. Oh, hold on a sec. He said, this is astounding and astonishing. This is exactly what CSW was talking about when he said, Bill, that's exactly 100% incredible. Nice job, Roy. Roy said, the only media outlet speaking about BSV is CoinGeek. They've been instructed not to talk about Galaxy, period. I already knew this, but it's up to other miners, services providers and builders to do their own due diligence. Words are cheap. Proof is in the head-to-head testing. He said, any chance Gavin Mail or me or Kurt Watcher Jr. can get an X Space tonight? This is bigger than anyone understands. He said, you won't get CoinGeek funded folk to openly discuss this, especially when their businesses are economically invested in the successful launch of Terranode. I'm not stupid, neither is Kurt. And he's also said here, I appreciate the work that Ziggy and his team does. There's no need for another BSV war. It's the last thing we need. We can learn from one another. Competition doesn't have to be combative. At the end of the day, our goals are all one and the same. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. But Kurt did do a reply, and he's like, look, there's no conspiracy here. If we have a chance to understand this, then I'm sure we'd use it. But the question is, what is Galaxy? Never heard of it. Don't know what it is. We all know about Aerospike. Who knows? But we'll find out. CSW has said here. He said how judges took control of Britain. So let's have a look. Is this the? That's the Telegraph there. Yeah. Okay. The judicial activism always arises dressed in solemn wigs and robes, pretending to be the latter defender of principle, while in truth it is just another parasite feeding on the carcasses of society, too cowardly to govern itself. Parliament dithers, executives shrink from responsibility, and into the vacuum steps the judge, armed not with the laws as written, but with interpretation, the polite word for legislation from the bench. The disease spreads quietly at first, welfare schemes are drafted badly, and rather than a legislator correcting its own errors, a court rewrites the rules. Immigration laws becomes a chessboard where human rights are contorted into excuses for those who would never have been admitted, and policy being applied as written. Equal pay becomes a cruel job to bankrupt cities and retailers alike, not because markets were unjust, but because judicial priests declared themselves arbiters of value. Environmental cases drag into oblivion billions of pounds of investment because judges decide that what Parliament meant is not what Parliament said. This is not law, it's rule. Hold on. This is not law, it's a rule by philosophers, kings and polyester gowns. The Constitution promised sovereignty to the people through their elected representative, but Westminster, flabby and weak, surrendered the field. Every time Parliament hands over ambiguity, judges seize it, and every time Parliament flinches from reversing them. The empire of law expands. What was once the corrective becomes the master. A civilization in health produces legislators willing to write laws and defend them, the judges willing to interpret narrowly and humbly. A civilization in decline watches its courts and metastasize into surrogate governments, with unelected lawyers deciding who stays in the country, who gets paid, who may drill for gas, and who may be bankrupted in the name of equity. Judicial activism is not progress, it is the bureaucracy of decay, the symptom of a polity that no longer has the will to rule itself. Yeah, absolutely spot on. It's scary what's going on, and he knows it. Let's see what he said here. He said, in 2015, I created over 800 concepts for patents, and they were later patented. 800, not 8, not 80, and I didn't have an army of research assistants or a cathedral of humming servants whispering neutral prayers into my ear. Or neural prayers into my ear. I had myself a stubborn mind, a few late nights, and eventually the tidying hand of patent attorneys to sweep the dust into the formalities of the system. That's it. No chorus, no algorithmic choir, just me. Now I'm told in 2025 that the only way a human being can generate sustained thought, breath of innovation, or sheer volume of conceptual frameworks is with a metallic nursemaid of a large language model. That without it, we are crippled, barren, uncreative. Then let me pose the uncomfortable question. If such a machine is indispensable now, how the hell did we do it 10 years ago? If the answer is that I could not have, then I am left with only two possibilities. Either I did the impossible, or I invented this entire supposed miracle of a machine, learning a decade before anyone else. Which is it? I would say you did the impossible, mate. You did the impossible, and you invented this entire supposed miracle machine. It's incredible what you've done. Miraculous. He continues, the absurdity of it all reeks of a cheap theatre. People now outsource their imagination to an algorithm and then flatter themselves with the result, like children pasting macaroni on cardboard and calling it architecture. And then when confronted with the reality that someone produced more, faster, and without the safety net of machine suggestion, their only refuge is disbelief. Surely, they say, it must have been impossible, because they cannot imagine a life without their crutch. That inability of the imagination is their confession, not mine. If I had done in 2015 what they now say only large language models can achieve, then the irony bites twice as hard. I either cracked the future before its time, I think you did, mate, actually, or the present is nothing but a masquerade of mediocrity. That's also true. In which the machine is used not to extend thought but to replace it. That's exactly what's going on. Perhaps the true invention wasn't the model itself, but the excuse it provides. A generation so desperate for validation it needs silicon oracle to whisper back the thoughts it can't bear to form on its own. Yeah, Craig, I would say that you are the philosophy that's been predicted to come and save humanity, mate. That's my opinion from what I've read in all the philosophical history books. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, believe it or not. Whew, right, 365 days of Bitcoin history on the 19th of August 2010. Quote here, Laszlo told me he did compile in the four-way stuff on Mac. That was just Satoshi Nakamoto, as in Craig Wright, having a bit of banter there on Bitcoin Talk, or on his emails. And on the 19th of August 2012, on this day in 2012, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss learned about Bitcoin while partying in Ibiza. They started buying at $10 and own over 100,000 BTC today. They're Bitcoin billionaires. Yeah, but they still think that BTC is Bitcoin. That's hilarious. They didn't realize it's great coin. But then they started buying at $10. I mean, look at the price now. Top left, $26.70. Legends were made at these prices. That is absolutely insane. Right, there we go. We'll leave it there. That is a quick 16-minute show. Got stuff to do today. There might not be a show tomorrow, but if I get back in time, I'll do one. We are now August the 19th. We've got 30 days left of the Kellan Speller Countdown. Like and subscribe. You're not going to want to miss all the shenanigans that happen between now and the end of the countdown. It's going to be absolutely epic. So hope you enjoyed it. And until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.